cause damage. So basically processed foods and refined sugars. So you can still eat fruits and vegetables. Those are going to be complex sugars, complex carbohydrates. And then you want to try to remove any of those chemicals. So if you're smoking, if you're drinking a lot of coffee, anything that's going to be aggravating it. Alcohol is another one. And then also those inflammatory foods. So those are going to be things like if you have a peanut allergy that causes inflammation, or something like gluten or dairy. Those are very big inflammatory foods. Other things might be soy for some people, or corn, depending on, those are your main allergens for people. So removing all of those and supporting your body through that clean eating, which would be also, as Dr. Saguil mentioned, adding fiber. Fiber is very, very important for it because it basically helps your digestion slow down. It helps you to break down foods properly so that the right foods are being absorbed efficiently, and then it gets rid of toxins. You can support it through herbal teas.
You mentioned drinking coffee is not being good. Does that include decaffeinated coffee?
Yeah, any type of caffeine in general, because caffeine is very dehydrating.
What about decaffeinated coffee?
No, I would not do decaf coffee for
Why?
because either one of them, the chemical structure of coffee is going back to that phase 1 picture, and that changes the way the phase 1 system works, basically, so it can down-regulate it, which means it can slow it down. So that's why a lot of cleanses will tell you no coffee, no caffeine, because it slows it down. So you want to eliminate it so that you're not taking in an extra burden on the liver.
And
So
would
that,
green tea fall into that as well?
yeah, for a detox, not that green tea is bad, and I'm not saying coffee's bad for you. It's just caffeine in general.
Okay, so herbal tea.
Herbal, so that's why I have the herbal teas up there, and a lot of herbs in those teas are very supportive as well. So, like a great one would be like dandelion tea, dandelion root tea. That helps with digestion. That's a great one. But in general, you don't want to do any caffeine because it also dehydrates you. So you want to make sure that you have all of that proper hydration so that you can remove those toxins through your kidneys.
And don't forget,
I'm sorry?
Corn was something bad.
Some of the most common food allergy or intolerance that I see are gluten, dairy, corn, and soy. So corn is a vegetable. It's okay, but when you think of the more processed foods, so you don't want to do anything that's been kind of hit the run of the mill and not in its natural form. So that's just in general. And it's the same thing with soy. So, you know, a lot of things have soy protein in it, but it's not the natural form of soy.
remember also, a good question with the caffeine and decaf, but even decaf coffee has caffeine in it. And if you think that you're able to take advantage of the aroma of decaf bean and not have the side effects of it, you have to be very careful. In my clinic, high blood pressure, insomnia, problems with the reflux are very common, as we usually put Band-Aids on them. So hypertensive medicines, reflux medicines, medicines for sleep, they're always being prescribed. Just look at the pharmacy. Anyway, anybody that has a sleep disorder, not to go off on a tangent, but anybody with a sleep disorder really shouldn't, or any of those problems, high blood pressure, reflux, anxiety, should not be on any caffeine or decaf products. I'm not saying to stop them altogether. I think that if you have to have some caffeine and you're trying to make a shift or reestablish circadian rhythm, sleep, or wakefulness, get some help in guiding you how to get off of caffeine. I just think caffeine, because of the diseases that I see in the clinic or in the emergency room, are adding to that burden of the diseases. If you have no problems with sleep, no problems with high blood pressure, no problems with insomnia or reflux, then you can probably indulge a bit. But again, in the context of our talk today, if we're going to avoid caffeine, it means decaf products too. And I have told you, my folks who have been here before, if you like tea, even the decaf tea, and you're very, very sensitive to teas or caffeine, brew it through once. The tea leaf that you have in green tea, brew it through once. You can usually get the molecule of caffeine, which is loosely bound, will go away with the first brew, most of it. Well, you still have those beneficial things in your tea leaves, And if the second brew is good enough, then usually has less caffeine. You cannot do that with ground up coffee bean, especially the ones that are very pulverized. If they're down to almost microscopic particles and you just put a little bit of water and your coffee tastes great, you're also taking everything from that bean. So it's a little bit harder to do with coffee. Good question though.